Blessings and welcome forward to Reasoning right here at the Tree of Life, on a beautiful sunny Jamaican afternoon. Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life, right here in Seala Media. Like, share and subscribe. We're in the presence of Brother Ramon Singh, perfect love, and Brother Mr. Kush, perfect love. I was reminding you to continue liking the Tree of Life experience, supporting the Patreon store and Seala Media. It's in the description box. Keep supporting the Ouija/Tree of Life television network. Many therapy sessions, many healing sessions, how to be happy, how to find the divine light within with yours truly. I just keep supporting the Tree of Life movement by leaving comments, liking and sharing our information, and most of all just having that interaction and that connection with the information. And for those who are interested in doing the Tree of Life retreat and tours, who is currently in communication with me, I look forward to finalizing of any bookings and such, because we do it according to the desire and the demand. So that being said, taking care of some of the little business before we get into the ministry business. So currently we're going to talk about the impact of using like occultic tools, right? Now there is a premise that we wanted to start out with, which is using the Ouija board as a foundation of the argument, right? And I guess we're going to explain a little bit more about what is a Ouija board as we understand it. What are some of the implications of using the Ouija board or other occultic tools? So the first question would be, I guess, why would someone really want to use an occultic tool? Well, most times what I learned about humans is that we have a desire to be at the best of our physical and psychic abilities, right? And sometimes when we don't naturally get there in the human, development, which we seek some kind of a, advanced, technology, right? Something to be a measure of amplification of the natural energy, right? So it's like a man then failing to be in sync with his divine self, meaning if you're really in tune with your higher self, most of the desires then that will be formulated in the inner self will be manifest, and people would say, or it will be said that you're living an enlightened life. But what about individuals who feel that this enlightened life might be something accessible through a different means than just developing the psyche and the behavior to that level? And then now they create technology to then mirror this other state of bliss. So then now, let's just say back in the day, the psychic energy was very inspiring and intriguing to man. So the average man would have been in the trance with the spirit of the Most High, learned some knowledge about life and creation, and would have thought that as a right functionality of actuality, right? And then the next man now, maybe don't feel him have that energy now to sit down and meditate for hours. Why him just start observe certain things, right? And then build up a little tower and say, him realize that if him build a certain kind of a refracting lens, right? Him can transmute the sun energy into a fire, right? And so him say to himself, say, the divine man say, I don't really need that magnifying glass. Can pray to the Most High, like Elijah, right? And then the fire can come now and consume all on the altar. But like the priests of Baal, what them do? Them look for a magnifying glass to magnify the power of the atomic nature of the sun, to prove like they know some secret knowledge, you understand me? But the power of the Most High overcome the desire to use a tool. But them have to use a tool to amplify frequency. So a man say, I know what you're doing. You're just operating on a high frequency. And I know that I can put some steroids and inject some special fountain of youth into my body. And I can live at the age of 70 like I'm 25, sleep with all the girls, right? But the man who is 70 years old with the spirit of being 25 has an eternal nature awoken in him. And it's not because he wants to sleep with 20-year-olds wide awakened. It's because it's a state of functionality that is awakened unto, right? And so we have the natural way of doing spiritual things, and then we have the occultic way. almost trying to bridge the gap by bridging the current. Mr. Kush or Brother Singh?
Well, as I said, when I was, yeah, get back my mind now. I have a gift inside of me when I'm born spiritually. I see a lot of things in visionary and hearing people's voices and, hear people telepath thoughts, and feel more happiness and bliss. So I was not looking for any further than just inside, So what happened is I've been experiencing what people using tools to manipulate other people's energy, because I can see the spirit who in that tool has been identified that energy to operate in that sphere. So when I was 22, I had somebody come from country to come and smoke and move with me, and them time when they are next door where they play domino. I don't know father tell them to me do a lot of youth in mind not there, but me they pick it up and see what is the problem, So one day I communicate with him and tell me a country, somebody use some phobia thing on him, and after that him get lost. He can't find back himself. So I tell him to you that be present, you see me? So follow your subconscious energy, Then the next day, the man find back himself. And the next next month, the man have a daughter, the man beat a girl. Next 9 months, the man have a daughter. And the man start to farming and be a thing. And the man younger than me, and me I help him to come off the blockage. Him tell in Portland, him come from Tenterman. Them do some obvious spell for him.
I'm always say that part of Jamaica have a lot of black magic.
Yeah, black magic.
The occultic, Brother Singh. So that's
yeah, correct. At the stage at the internal perspective experience life, So me not talk about through where I talk reading when we go through, So the person say, somebody put me in him when can't find that spirit there. And me have to help him out. Continue.
Brother Singh.
Well, I have an experience where I just come to Christ. And the time that my senses heighten, I feel a vibration up in my closet top. A place where I not go, none at all. Like things were stored years ago up there, Yeah. Some old suitcase where you not open,
True.
And I left the island, so I need suitcase and thing, I not go up there. But I feel a negative force. It's like the room just feel heavy.
Yeah.
And dark. And it's like my hard to breathe. And I say, why the room feel so? But that I still have many occult items in the room.
That is why harmonize that habit.
I still have my altar.
Yeah.
With the Bob Marley and the Selassie and everybody, crystal stones and candlesticks, everything.
Yes, hold on.
Occult books.
Yes.
You see me? And they have some symbols on my wall. Some occult symbols. Were supposed to be symbols of protection.
Yeah, no, that's what they always say, but it's just negative protection. But
yes, But when I say it's like me just get a sense say just get up.
Yeah.
It's like the Holy Spirit just literally say get up, check your closet top. Literally forget a chair to stand up on.
Yes.
And you have 2 doors, sir.
Yeah.
And in the middle part, between the 2 doors, you can hardly reach it.
Wow.
But Father just tell me say reach round.
Yes.
I'm going to reach around and feel something. I'm going to say, what is? I'm going to take it up. Looking at my hand. It's a gun holster.
Wow.
Something with a whole gun. You see me? I never seen this in my life before. And it all and withered.
Wow.
I'm going to say, what is this? Where this come from? The first thing come to my mind, burn it up.
Yes.
You see me?
Yes.
Burn it up. You see me?
That caused the energy to affect the whole space.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And that it's a gun, right? I remember gun, you know what my mind think about? Gun, you man come from black magic. say it resonate that frequency, amplify, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because so the demon them we slip in certain occult item were highly charged.
Yes. You know,
Probably a couple demon come with it.
Of course.
You see me? Them no slip it in your room unknowingly. Because them we come as a shadow, you know, come in your room, slip it in, come out. You know, see nothing.
You're right, because I have an experience when I go home, right? I have a weed icon, weed band, like the thing, you know, the weed metal thing, holder, and I put weed in it too. When we reach home one night, because it was 11 o'clock, we reach home, high energy, enough thing. I put the weed box up at the top of the thing, because I now hide the weed in the computer room. Fall asleep, next day, when I go walk in the top, it's not there. I know I can't find it. Mommy know you should go up in their room and church, no, you should that, but it's so funny that it's not there. From that, I can't think about that.
Because
nobody not thief, but I don't know.
Because
normally, trip out, I don't know, remember.
Because normally people would say, like, when you have an environment to add to what you're saying, that there's a lot of, you know, sorrow, trauma, suffering, it vibrates on a certain frequency. And so that frequency will attract more of its kind. So it's like when one demon comes, they invite 7 more. And then they invite 7 more. So it's like a legion end up being enchanting by a particular item. Like the particular item is the portal and it's the enchantment point. So when people, what would say enchant an item, like put a spirit in it, right? That spirit is there to either send forward a frequency, let's say of distortion, like in, let's just say a communal home where a husband and a wife. Many times you have people who would want to destroy the relationship between the husband and the wife, not purely on a human level. Because sometimes it's not just a human thing. Humans have jealousy, but humans also have desire that people should be happy. Even sometimes it's not themselves, it's still a human desire. So it's not purely that it's a human evil when people come against relationship, because it's a spirit that really goes against relationship, right?
True.
So a lot of times individuals now being possessed by the spirit, right, tend to come to your yard. Spirit when we say it in a patois. Then come at your yard, right? Claim say they might come spend some time with you. And literally what they're doing is carrying curses with them. You understand me? So
And
like,
leave the curse upon the spirit.
and leave the curses all of the
Like
time.
they come to show energy. Mama
Yes.
energy show. So
Yes.
when negative people come around, then put a negative spirit. And when
Yes.
you react that later, then pick up the vibe. You know what Bob Akra have to me leave. Come and put that in him. You see me? So that's why me know to block the negative spirit and the negative thought them. Because them carry a lot of spirit them and they do too much ritual, you see me? And they create a lot of chaotic behavior, chaotic mindset, you see me?
True. So sometimes people will, like, you know, you're moving to a neighborhood for the first time and, you know, they bring you a housewarming gift. You know, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's not food, sometimes it's just something, you know, and you put it in your place, right? And it's like, but just because where you put it, it's like everything around that area. It's like you had a plant there and the plant died. It's like you have a little daughter and your daughter is always falling there, right? Or a son and your son is always running into the wall there. You understand? And previously before you put that there, that wasn't happening. So that occultic tool now, right, is like a beacon that's drawing negative energy, right? And sometimes the negative energy might not necessarily be coming from, let's say, outside where it's a projection. Sometimes it's a magnifying of your own negative energy because it is representing distortion, right, and frustration. So it's like you're in a space and a lot of fear or frustration just coming in. Because I had an experience with, you know, the enchanting of, you know, a particular implement in my life. Like a woman did that to me and she put it over my doorway, and, you know, I was going through a lot of like aggressive, like when she'll be over, I'll be agreeing, you know, like disagreeing and arguing, and, you know, it's a lot of unnecessary disagreements over like stupid things, right? And then, you know, when, you know, my healer, you know, in the spirit would say to me, you know, Jerome, there's something there in your home. And I was like, really? She's not been to my home, so she don't know. She says, yes, man, it is. And she tell me what it is, and it's over there. And when I go and I look, I see it. And so when I found it, I remember that at a previous time, when I was deep in the enchantment, I even found the same thing too, and just thought to myself, maybe somebody just forgot it there, right? Because it's such a simple thing that it's not about what it is, because they can enchant anything, hey, right? Because it's like you carry it, you do a ritual over it, right? So it don't matter, it could be a key ring, it could be a shirt, it could be a shoes, it could be a tuft of feather, it could be a piece of bone, right? And so the occultic things, like, I find, like in our culture, I've encountered them in many weird places. Like, you know, people who come to my home in a most intimate sense did that, right? I've gone to people's home and see wherein they've had that layout in their place, right? My friends who I know, like personal friends to me, have been to places and women have done stuff to them, and the man have done stuff to them. I mean, I have a very good friend of mine, like a really good friend, right? Because sometimes I think people think we talk only from the male point of view. I have a really good female friend of mine, like nothing weird, just really good friend, right? And she was with this man. And would you believe the man was spelling her through food? Brother Singh, Mr. Kush. You know me, I say, you know that, because we're Jamaican, they always love to say, woman, a time man, through food. People, this a man here, a time my friend, hey, through food. If my friend wasn't a spiritual woman, I have a spiritual friend, yeah, a trouble. And the man a come even offer me food. So the first thing when I come in the man presence, you know, the man a push food for me, you know. I just walk in and the man a push food for me, you know. And my spirit just say, just store the food. So my spirit say, if you flat out refuse the food, it's going to be in a different frequency. You don't want to see me in another frequency today. So I said to him, say, you know, I just ate, but I want it. So put it in a container for me, right? You put it in a travel container for me. I dump that. You understand me? When I get to my yard, where my spirit is stronger, as it comes in, sir, as it, we have to tell you, this is a tell them. As we carry it in my yard and put it in my energy field, this is a dash of that. I want that. Dash of that. You understand me?
So,
In a even a theme realms, when I was in her and him present, my spirit never eat it. And then she asked me about it a time after, you know. You just eat that meal.
You know.
And I said, dash it. She said, that's right. She said, I just knew you didn't have it. She said, the man I tried to tie me in our food. So when we talk about occult or black magic or OB or science, people enchant things. Food, clothing, they give you a
and
gift.
it's split, because I never
And
tried
split,
it
yeah.
in real life in 2012, 13, right? I remember me and Dubba and them tell her the Empress come down and would check me. I would split for her and give her the split. Me burn my weed, right? Me done burn the weed, she done fat out and gone burn her beat and I get it split. I'm going to wait, do not take out that split. I'm telling you, do not carry that split. But well, me let go in my mentor and say, yeah, I'm going to take the split. Before me took the split and go home and say, yeah man, burn that split on the window, look in the sky, yeah man, nice vibe, happiness. You know, me see, something came to my mind, like me feel a spirit come and me see a woman in my subconscious and me say, oh yeah, that woman me give the scripture, whatever, yeah, I'm burn the window and done, you know. But me go in bed and lie down, demon sexuality hard upon me. Next morning, I wake up, Seala, I wake out my statement. I'm fresh. And that demon sexual girl there, I go in my subconscious and put negative thoughts and demonize my spirit. So that's why I have a detachment, that spirit there, you see me?
Hey.
That demon spirit there, just me. It's not easy to get rid of.
No, for real, because you know some things when they attach themselves, because it's a ritual. I mean, people target you. Because sometimes the dark forces, they don't like the light. They want to harvest the power of the light and basically annihilate the person who has the light. So the people who are taught by such entities, likewise they hunger after your light. So a lot of times a person might say, whoa, you're so unlucky to be attracting dark persons and you are not dark. A lot of times, hey, it's not that the person is dark. We have a little dark in us, but that's not the issue. There must be something that would cause it to be attracted. So it must have a little of it. So I'm not playing smart. A lot of us do have a little of that dark. But here's the issue too. Because we have light, a lot of the dark is attracted to the light. It's like a moth to a flame kind of thing or something.
And you have to transmute
right?
it. You have to transmute the dark to the
True.
light.
So a lot of so a lot of times now, when let's just say as a man, no, me use the opposite. As a woman, a lot of times, I'm gonna stay with the woman in the a lot of times a man see a woman's light, right? And it's resonating at a certain level. So a good person would say, well, that's a decent, beautiful person in soul and actuality, or in spirit and in truth, right? A Christian or a religious minded person would say, well, that person has the spirit of the Most High God upon them. But to another person who is in the occultic, they are looking at that person like that's a source of energy to be harvested, that can be used, right? So a lot of times now that man I look upon that woman like, see that woman there, you know, is going to give me the kind of energy me need to mask a portion of my intent to do something I need to do. So when he approached her, it wasn't that his darkness matched her darkness. It's that he went after her light, to harvest her light so that he could access something that he cannot access with his dark forces, right? Put it the next way. An individual soul carry one frequency, but something you need the unified band of frequencies, right? Male and female, both has to be harmonized. So sometimes a man with him dark force, literally, you understand me, prey on a woman with her light, because in getting her light is giving himself an extra power. We cannot even just put it in the occult, even in a natural way. A man going through life and then he encounters the company of a beautiful woman in spirit and in truth, and just his own behavior, his attitude towards reality is improving. How him look at himself as a man start change. What him perceive himself and even a woman to be begins to change. So you know, say just naturally this decent good woman is having an effect upon him. So the question is, so why it don't work when the man dark like to bring out the good? I'm not saying every time it don't work, because sometimes the woman light is stronger than the dark that the man have. So no care him work in the dark side, when she get on her knee and say Jesus. Right? No care you talk about say Jesus now have no power. When she get on her knee and say Jesus, deliver me. No care how much Ouija board, crystal ball, him a use how much entity him a call upon. Him can't crack that spirit, hallelujah, that is within her to bring her to the world of darkness. You understand me? And if him don't convert to the light, him have to leave her. You understand me? And if him don't leave willfully, him have to die. You understand me I say? So when me look on it now, me know for a fact say, lots of people with light is being targeted by dark people, not because they are evil people. It's because the light is hunted by them to be used, right? And the children of this world are the most targeted. Because what I'm because they're not adults and they're carrying around this awesome light. You have a lot of pedophiles, males and females, right? Who are thinking to themselves they can devour the light within a child, the spirit and the being of a child, and no one would dare stand against them. This is one of the deepest, evilest acts of Molech and his followers, right? In sacrificing children to an ungodly system. This is one of the deepest, evilest uses of occultic sciences, where the occultic people for years, pedophiles of the worst order, have been using children, hallelujah, in the most heinous of rituals, right? To regenerate, just like how they're harvesting the women's and the man's light, just to fuel themselves, they're harvesting the innocence of the children, the light of the children, you understand me? To fuel their fountain of youth, maligning, stupid, satanic ideology.
Yes, because usually them try to focus on the children because they are the spiritual one and they're purified and they're just born. So when them grow in enlightenment, they can see the reality different what it is. So these people or the ignorant people trying to create blockage on the children, trying to block their spirit, them not to remember. That's why we lost and become that. So what I realize that they know that we all have the gift of the Most High and the metaphysical power of life, that we don't need anything to do to. We have the infinite mind, awareness, and that is it. Because how you know it? a lot of kids went born with the 2%, and then report it and then lock it down. How come you don't hear about them no more? And that's a deeper question. They lock it down to entire 2%, then them can blindfold and see everything.
True.
I'm not talking about they're born with a natural gift, and I'm still that already. And they block them, government focus on those kids because they don't want to
take them out of the regular, what I call the free enterprise, where they can be of a benefit to humanity, and take them into the military industrial complex.
Yeah, that is going on, and that's enough for them that type of military power, and they use tight ability and they will hire them, you know.
True.
But them black part of them country because they want black part in the universe and focus on this. Yeah, that's how certain people, you know when then they, good.
Because like
they are compared, lucky now. Oh, you find me?
Like remote sighting, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that ESP and remote Taiki spy. Taiki spy. Yeah, Taiki spy. Real.
Because
not
they
for the
even use
people them.
in the police department, they use a lot of psychic.
Yeah,
and
Taiki
they use the people do the remote viewing of seeing distant objects without actually being there and giving perfect layout. So these are part of the psychic and the occultic science. But the spirit want me to make one final point before I move forward to your brother Singh. In that the reason why again the dark feeds on the light, because the nature of functionality is based in the light. It's based in truth. But they have aberrated the truth and destroyed it. So the natural function, so the spirit is saying the people need to know why they are using these devices or why they're acting that way. Because they have destroyed natural processes. So it's like you and I know being righteous, being moral, being ethical, being just, being truthful, being kind, being honest. Doing this as life affords you access to a different source of energy.
Higher dimension, higher power.
And so this now would give you the gift to resonate a certain way. But they want the power of that resonation without being moral, ethical, or disciplined. They are going counter to discipline, counter to morals, counter to ethics, right? They are doing as thou wilt. They are unnatural. So because they are atomic in a world that is run by celestial fire, not atomic fire, all they can do is make the soot fire, not the sootless fire that breathes and burns without soot, right? They can't do the natural. They have to do a carbonation, a burnt image, right? But the melanation, the living image is I am the living presence, right? So this energy, right, that they are seeking to find through a means of, basically extricating it from someone else, is because they have destroyed it in themselves. They have destroyed the process of being in sync with truth. So you have the energy because you are real and you are actual living being. They need your energy to do and operate the natural cycle. They have built a world that is inorganic, that they don't need you to operate. But in order to access that world, to conform and conjure new forms, they need your psyche, they need your energy, because you are the creative spirit actualized as man and woman.
I see it, and when I was younger, like I asked you, telephone can be a negative tool because TNT is a device of occult. Because when I was younger, I have a remote view Taiki. I went to people's yard and know who's in the house, and I went out my aunt and everybody. I never did phone on the 9 or 10 or 11. When I started that phone the first time, I give it back to my aunt and start bought. I got $500 for the phone, and this is the come in Jamaica. So when I step it and get the phone because they want to know where you're there and them thing there. But then forgot that we have a God gift inside of we and we have a tight ability. We can pick up our senses. So if I hear you inside, I can find you without calling you. I can know where you're located, I can know where you're there, I can feel your motion. So that's how I start learn my spiritual journey. That's how my subconscious reflect back your inner child. Because everybody have a spiritual gift, but what happens when you're after when you're 5 years old? Because with the caught up in the system, it's blocking, So if you let it from young and train from younger before 30, you become more enlightenment and see the world it is, and you don't need a degree, you don't need money or nothing. You can have life and manifestation and see things beyond what is the earth, See things, you don't need a television no more, because it's a tool, radio is a tool. Back in the days, people don't need radio, people link up people without phone. our great parents link up with our phone. Them know that my mama over there, but I feel like you now come for 3 days. Yeah man, we got to leave. 3 days today, because you're communicating spirit. All it's not the spirit, we know that man.
Yeah.
And the spirit is the real take the time. You can try with that.
Yeah, it's the essence of what, I mean, like,
the
even
spirit
the
is the real
children.
inner technology, you know, in a way. They divide it into that way, you know. Before they create the material divide and block with the inner thinking.
And I agree with that.
Do things better without.
Because I see the children, like when I'm like observing children, I see like children having this extrasensory perception. Like many times when my nephew was a child, I doubt if him exercised that much, one of my nephews rather, but he could usually tell me when, like, you know, my mother would be coming home, his grandma, you know, and he's never wrong, right? And so then my niece, she had the same ability, right? And so then people would be saying, oh, you have a gift, you have a gift. But then I keep recognizing that it's just called a gift because after the suppression of so much of our abilities, they are shocked that one or two still comes through. So in the movies about the superheroes and all these
all
things,
of that dump, yeah.
so they use that to say, okay, so you can use the special gift you have. But when you really get down to it, right, the people who are said to be the superhero are the ones that are finding out that they have these extra powers are actually the people who were willing to be ostracized for being themselves, for being indifferent to what was presented as the actual self. Because a lot of times now, what is the real gifts of life is innumerable. But because people have been trained to almost suppress the good in you want to express, right? And everything around you is trying to suppress that good from manifesting as its natural way and being, which is your life in harmony. So you dear know, as an entity right now, right? Literally just trying to bring out what is the divine nature in you. Just naturally, right? And then when you break through the ceiling, the glass ceiling, they call you great. But literally, it's a natural ability that you have expressed. Had it not been so difficult to express that, you still would have expressed it. The difficulty is based upon somebody projecting something upon you. The difficulty don't have to be there for you to manifest. This is what most people don't get. And that is why when they are disjointed from truth, the internal, they use an instrument. Somebody's telling them, in order to have this power of unity with the spirit and nature, you're gonna have to go and chant 100,000 of this word every Sunday at this point in the day. You're gonna have to draw this symbol on the wall. You're gonna have to make your bed face to a dimension, to this angle, to be in alignment with Hamel in the Baphomet 3-star constellation. You understand? These things aren't necessary because you have the energy in you naturally by function, and you don't need now an instrument or a tool. So the tool comes because they are disconnected. And because they are disconnected, they're feeling now that my mind can only be awakened if I go on the internet. But my mind wasn't awakened, hallelujah, through the internet. Or my mind can only be awakened by watching or reading Helena Blavatsky or whatever. Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Because right there in your corner, in your little small corner, is a divine celestial self operating in you. Ignorance is ignoring it. So you ignored it for something carnal and visible. You didn't realize that tangibility came from the intangible.
That matter. You don't realize that the thing come from the unseen. That's what I'm saying. So when I sit all day and meditate all day, what I see inside, I be done and then go with the flow, you see me? So when I go with the flow and keep myself like a wind flow, every place at the abundance, I weed, everything, I don't have money, I'm bored. Enough time I take I'm up on the road all day and people give me drink and everything. It's how me vibrate, functionality, you see me? I know repeat my mind that what I want, but I feel what I want and feel the current, you know what I mean? And create the vibration. So life is just being simple and live happiness and live joyful. Once you feel happiness and joyful, there's a clarity within you. Simple. And once you experience that clarity, you experience life.
Brother, sing anything before we
Continue.
segue out of here?
Yeah man, if you just touch upon the Ouija board a little bit. many of the young people around the world, and even just most people, they use the Ouija board, you know? There's this story of this, even a 40-year-old man. See the Ouija board in the store, think it would be a nice game for him and his wife to play when he get home. Bring it home, him and his wife pull it out of the package, start play it. And after that night, doors start opening in his house. People start knocking on his door.
Name a call.
Running up and down the stairs where there's nobody there. You know? So he basically open out doorway for the negative spirits for coming in his house. And now them a run up and down in his house every day. You can literally go up on him story. I don't remember his name, but I might send you the link, you know?
Yes, yeah, wow. But I mean, there was a show back in the day, I remember when you brought up the Ouija board, I said, I never played a Ouija board, and the only inference I had to a Ouija board, not saying that it's the exact layout of the normal Ouija board, but there's a movie called Jumanji that introduced the idea of a Ouija board.
True.
And there was this guy named Alan, I think Alan Parker or Alan, people can tell me what the last name is, but he was supposed to be a 10-year-old kid in the 60s that got lost in the game, and then some people in the 80s now were playing the game and call up the entities and open the portal, and all of a sudden the dimension started shifting. So as you said, doors started opening. Is like immediately I recognized, like as that movie had said, the moment you throw the dice and roll and then the message come up. But in the Ouija board it's like the spirit is speaking and the letters spell the word and spell what it's saying. But it's like the same thing. You throw a number, the number goes to a card, and in the board it's something comes up and say gives you a clue or a hint or something. According to the movie I'm using as an inference to the Ouija board to suggest that, as the movie was saying, to kids, doing this opens up something. When the kids read the message, it was the invocation. Throwing the dice was the invocation, you got the response, and then now the entities now would enter into the dimension. So in the movie now, I think the first thing was there's a certain clue and a spider, one of the unclean spirits, right? Arachne, right? She came out, right? So the spider came from that dimension, and all of a sudden now that demon, visible to us as a spider, came into this plane. And so the movie went on like that. And so then, what I got the idea that this movie was popularizing the suggestion that if you want access to dimensions, to power, maybe to wealth, to prosperity, or to a certain secret knowledge, right? Like going to the astral in a certain way, this would be the perfect book to a game to play. Which is really like necromancy is like you're really engaging with spirits and demons, right? And the fact that the game in the movie was saying that, oh, this existed from, this is the part I want to make really. The movie was saying the game existed from the dawn of time. And you're the trick about it, Brother Ramon. Like they were saying, let's just say 10,000 years ago, a man have some bone and some little things out, scratch on a stone, that was the game.
Yep.
And then it show it evolve, and then like in the early 40s or so it would have been with the bone dice or whatever, right? And then with cue cards or com cards or whatever you want to call it, right? And our flash cards. And then now as it gets into the 90s, which was the second version before the recent version, right? Now this recent version, what were they doing? How did they go into Jumanji? Remember? I remember because I watched that stuff. It's video games. They were playing with some old consoles, right? And so it's like the game is saying for every epoch of time, this is here. So you're showing you that this thing is an ancient occultic tool or science, right? Of convoking, invoking, communicating with the other dimension, the demonic realms, realms of darkness, the realms of the whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't good. Because as I saw in that, ain't nothing good come out but possessions of the children. And as you said in that literal case, the man house become a open house to entities.
Got one time I moved in our house in a Mona Kingston area. And I start have certain paranormal activity happening in my house. You see me? Door a knock. Somebody a call me right beside me. When I look around, nobody.
I tell that already, man. I know that already.
Kitchen, I make noise, doors are open, plate a fly up, fork and thing a move up and down.
Extreme possession.
The house haunted. It's a rented house, you know.
Move us from
You see me?
extreme.
The house
Zero.
haunted, literally.
Oh, yeah.
One time, I sit down on my bed, and I literally feel somebody come sit down right beside me.
Yeah, it's spirit them.
And I look, nobody's there, but I feel the impression on the bed and everything.
Sitting down, yeah.
And I said,
Serious
Jano,
stuff,
you know?
So they probably had some paranormal activity, like probably definitely that was a portal.
Yeah,
and
man.
it probably was
Yeah,
like
man.
the previous
But-
family.
Because from the grounds unholy,
Yes.
tainted ground, you know? Because you have holy ground different from unholy ground.
Absolutely.
And grounds where certain activity happened what was demonic or very negative.
Traumatic and
Yeah, it charge up the spot.
yeah.
Because even probably somebody could even be possessed by a demon. But after they died,
Yes.
the demon remain in the room because the demon don't really have nowhere else to go.
That's like
him
his
love
home,
and him
or
home that now, yeah. And then most times these demons and evil spirits, them live in these empty houses because nobody want to live there.
Yes, yes.
You see me? Because if somebody go live there,
And they say it's haunted.
a lot of things start happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody want to live there. As them get out as soon as possible, and it just become an abandoned building
Yeah.
that is haunted.
And let me tell you what happened, man. But one of us man working on construction, right? And in a tentative bed, he went to our house to come have a construction job the next day. He went to our house, right? A big lot of the house, man. He went to him like a night bath and all that flip. And all that flip, the spirit, him feel the energy. Spirit come and sit beside him while the TV turn off. Every time turn on the TV, the spirit come and turn off the TV. The man say, all the slash and charm the whole house up and down. Them a tell you, they're not a bad spirit. What happened is, them poor parents will leave to live on the land, do a lot of blood sacrifice.
Oh.
They split animal, and that's how too much spirit come here and haunt the house.
Wow.
They split the blood of animal. When they split the animal, a bad spirit come out.
Yeah,
But they are
Yeah,
good
well.
spirit, them say bad and good, but them say it's not haunted. Like when them burn weed and them charm, the spirit become peace.
Yes. I mean,
So,
'cause
and
I
when
guess-
go back in him no wire him again, that spirit respect him ancestry. But him say all the eyes lastly, everything straight down in spirit. So the spirit them start humble. Nah,
Yeah, man. 'Cause I
support
remember
you.
say,
Nah, body your spirit. The
Alright.
spirit him, burn weed and do you have to do.
as a child of God, God said we should not fear no evil.
That,
Absolutely.
Because
Hold on,
He
I
is
put
with
that
us.
time to-
You see me?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
I shall fear no
No
evil,
evil.
for thou art with me.
Yeah.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
comfort me.
Yes,
You see me?
absolutely.
We should
Absolutely.
fear no evil.
None at all.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times, again, even just, in closing, as related to what you said,
I'm a good bird into that. man.
many people sometimes, I guess, when they encounter these negative, whether somebody's projecting these through the traumatic stuff that has happened there, the fact that some blood sacrifice and ritual, sometimes some people is afraid or is reacting to that presence so negative that even the spirits probably just want rest. And sometimes to bring rest is to come there and be a person of peace and be a person of light. So that's why I say sometimes when people are deep in occult and they feel like they can overcome someone with the light, a lot of times the person with the light more often than not overcomes, hallelujah, them with the darkness.
Yeah.
So when a person is using like sprinkling powder outside your door, according to them to take your opportunities away from you, the light that you have in you resonates so strong that the ambits of that ritual magic that they're working is like a person holding a matchstick to an eternal flame. There is no comparison. So once you are eternal flame, Don't worry about matchsticks. It's a fire, but it will burn out as soon as its fuel source is over. You'll keep going. So resonate the light, the truth of Yeshua Mashiach, of Yeshua the Christ. Resonate the truth of God. This will give you the strength to overcome all occultic sciences, all tools and ritual magic. Because it's not just about going to someone. Sometimes we need someone to help us. No lie about that. But it starts with you. Meaning, we are so afraid, we're so weak, which again makes us more vulnerable. It dims the light in us. Because that's demonic works to be so afraid and so be so cowered in.
Roman always make a point to the authority. Because if you can make a demon transmute an angel, it'll be good. And that came to my subconscious yesterday 2 days, and I'm saying, yeah, because we can communicate with them. As they say, spirit communicators. Because you can see them. I have a gift to see them. But speaking is a different reaction. And what kind of purpose they are doing, you know what I mean? So when I listen to brother to when them charm the house and burn the fire the house, the spirit them started to rest and calm and become peace. The next day them start, because the person said nobody never visited the house before. You know them after man come to live the big house, but usually I have to do it because I have a contractor job next day. So I have to sleep on that and go over there. You see me? So I understand the experience. Do not run away from yourself because we are spiritual beings, right? And we are the light. And they pick up our frequency thought and we kill them naturally. So we have to take responsibility to be able to ward off.
Exactly.
Ward off. The word name, ward off.
Yeah, ward off.
Because what me do, like if me are moving to a new place, that it might be old, you know, but it's new to me.
You have to ward off them.
Me make sure pray over the house, you see me? And capture every spirit, lock them up, and throw them down to hell. I'm tell you, say, me tell the Father, say, a judgment day, they must stay down there for, you see me? So capture them, you have to literally capture them, you know, and throw them down there. Because you can capture them, you know, and they are still there.
Yes.
So you have to know what you do with your faith and your prayer.
Yeah.
You can say, Father, capture all these negative forces.
Yes.
And you capture them right there and then.
And cast them off into the fire.
Yeah, you have to tell them where to go now.
And you bind them.
To bind them to the
And cast them into the abyss.
Yes, I.
Yeah, thank you, Ramon.
Yes, I.
Absolutely. So, brothers.
Thank you. You have to give thanks, you know. Yo, give thanks to the Most High, you know what I mean?
So,
and a lot of people never give thanks every day, you know. So every day you have to let give thanks and stay in a higher vibration and a heightened energy, you see me? And very protective, you know, and inner secure, you know, because too much things is catching up, you know. So the more awakened you're dead, the more the harder fight you go through internally because you see the truth. So it's time to write it and just do what you have to do, seriously.
Master the self.
Yeah, master no title.
So until next time, we are reminding you to be the true essence of righteousness through Yeshua Christ, through the divine nature. So you don't need the occultic tools, instruments, amplifiers, charms, amulets, and all these manner of incantation and mantras and conjurings. You don't need it, because he who worship in spirit and in truth, and ask and it shall be given. So there is no hidden motive, so you don't need no hidden iconography, you don't need no representation, because it is living, alive and living. So as it was yesterday, so it shall be today, so shall it be tomorrow. God is, was, and is to be. As he was yesterday, so he is today, so he will be tomorrow. So always going to be the same. So we are not going to get a lesser God because we are here today or because we are going to be here tomorrow. It's always going to be potent. We don't need to bridge the current. We don't need to play no smart. Yeah? Ask and it shall be given. So until next time, this has been a great old reasoning right here at the Tree of Life with my co-host, brother Ramon Singh, and the mystic Kush. Yeah, once again, like, share, subscribe to the Seala Media Experience, the Tree of Life Experience right here on Seala Media. Listen.
Perfect love.
Perfect love.